In our modern world of gaming, much like any competitive field, there are certain people who tend to rise to the top. While each player may have unique individual attributes that make them capable of achieving feats that reach the pinnacle of performance in their respective titles, there are also common attributes which can be observed across individual people that transcend mechanical skill or an individual player's capabilities. My name is T-Church, a professional coach and educational content creator. In today's video, I'm going to attempt to take you on a deep, analytical dive into common traits which can be commonly found in people that strive for greatness. Alright guys, so up first, we're going to be talking about communication today. So I know if you guys are a fan of some of the bigger names in Fortnite competitive and you follow along with enough Twitch streams from professional players, and you'll know that the vast majority of professionals are excellent communicators. They understand how to use their words in such a way to guide their team's actions in order to achieve a goal. So in a game like Fortnite, developing the ability to precisely communicate your thoughts to your team in a quick manner is something that is mandatory at the highest levels. Due to the fast-paced nature of the game, it is often difficult to direct teammates with long, complex thought chains. So developing phrases or hot words, keywords that allow you guys to communicate a more complex thought without any additional load on basically your ability to focus on all of the additional information that's going on in front of you is a strategy that's often employed, and you can see examples of in the clips that I'm going to show you guys. So in this first clip here, we're going to have Bugha and Aviv in an off-spawn situation, and I just want you guys to take a quick second to listen to not only how they handle this situation from a teamwork perspective, but also the communication that they're giving to each other, the information that they're feeding to each other is crucially important. So we're going to watch the clip through one time, and then I'll run it back by you guys and point out the important parts.
I'm landing in this building right here. I'm about to come.
I'm running.
About to kill them. He's coming from the top building. 80, 81 screen.
So very quick and easy off-spawn fight for Bugha and Aviv there. Let's run it back. So again, starting off off-spawn situation, they are getting contested at a drop that is mostly 50-50. So getting guns and getting into good positions and getting a quick knock is pretty important here.
I'm landing in this building right here. I'm about to
So you hear Aviv coming with the comms there. Hey, they landed in this building right here. I'm about to fight this kid. You know, letting Bugha know, hey, I've got a kid on me. I think I have an opportunity here. You know, let's jump on this. Let's try to jump on this kid together. Before Bugha is able to get there, obviously Aviv is going to take the player down. You're going to see Aviv take the player down. So Bugha is going to change his focus instead of, and this is something that I can cover in another video, but Bugha does leave the body behind, which is the correct play. And in this scenario, you want to apply pressure to the other player as quick as possible. But that's not what I'm trying to talk about here, guys. I just want to focus on communication. So obviously, Bugha's going to go ahead and turn around there. He's going to focus on the other kid. And you can hear Aviv in this clip talking about the other guys shooting me from up on top of the building. So Bugha is able to cut line of sight here. And then obviously with the information that Aviv is giving him, he knows exactly where the other kid is, combined with the audio cues. And he's able to get a really quick, easy kill here with the support spray coming out from Aviv there. Alright guys, so this next clip is probably going to turn into more of a video, but I will say that Kanata's comms are probably some of the best in North America. I genuinely feel like out of every single player that I have tried to watch to make this video, like Kanata's comms are probably by far the best. I mean, the only other player that I was as impressed with their comms was probably Vino, but obviously Vino's one that, you know, they're both some of the best in the world, right? So, you know, there's definitely a lot for us to learn from both these guys. But we're going to go ahead and watch Kanata in this clip here from a recent in-game in, I believe, Duo Cash Cup Finals. He was playing with his duo Cooper, and they were able to do pretty well in this game off of the back of some really good communication and teamwork. So I want to go ahead and watch through like the first minute or so of this video with you guys, and as we go through it, I'm going to point out very important things. We're going to, you know, that these guys are communicating back and forth to each other that are helping them get really easy plays and kills on other people.
I trolled. I'm big. I'm gonna
Nice try. Nice try. Come. Watch out, shot. You good? You good?
Yeah, I'm gonna play. No,
Okay. I'm with you.
So first things first, this is already a difficult rotate, especially with Nitro being in the game. It's very easy for people above you, obviously, to drop down on your head. So their rotate immediately gets scuffed, and as soon as that happens, they start talking to each other. What's going on? You know, where are you? Can you get to me? Etc. Etc. Right? And those comms are kind of like based on roles and stuff, and who's gonna say what. Generally, whoever's in front is gonna be, you know, looking back, trying to help support the other player to get to them, etc. Right? But very good just to even start off, right? Bad situation. How do we make sure that we survive in bad situations? Well, let's make sure that we communicate with our team, right? Because we have to let them know what our situation is, the information that we have on our screen that is not immediately available to them. That is our responsibility to make sure that they can know, right? So when things go bad, make sure we're communicating.
He's trying to run in our buff.
And you can hear Kanata continually guiding Cooper throughout this rotate.
I'm gonna God spot.
Whole lot of filler comm. Hey, I'm letting him know we're moving through the zone like pretty easy. I got a free layer, I got a god spot, etc., etc., right? Like he's constantly talking, constantly feeding Cooper information so that Cooper can make the best choice available to him, right? Now it's Cooper's turn to communicate a little bit. You can hear Cooper call.
Holding.
Notice how Cooper calls out every single little action, right? First he starts off with calling out, hey, turning around, saying, hey, I'm looking back, I can take the wall. Oh, now I have them full box, right? All three of those comms are super important because it allows Kanata to understand the progression of the fight without actually having to see it. But then on top of that, obviously, he's right here, and it allows him to know that, hey, I just have to sit here with my gun out because Cooper's going to go ahead and take care of all of the wall replacing in the editing, right? And we're going to see another example of this in just a second.
Well, item 82. Okay, let's start on. I'm just running ahead. Box the kid. My wall. Hold it. Add it, bro. You add it.
So you can hear, once again, communication skills, guys. Like, Kanata is leading this duo. You know, he needs to make sure that he is communicating the exact play that he wants the team to make, not just the play that he wants to make, right? He's trying to make sure that Cooper is also involved in this because at the end of the day, when you're playing a team mode, it's about the strength of the team, right? We have to work together. So how do we make that happen here? Well, Kanata's going to go ahead and guide him with his voice, let him know, hey, I have an opportunity here. You need to get to me. You need to play on me. And then once they do have that wall, Kanata's saying, hey, like, you have your build, like you're going to go ahead and edit this. Like, you have your builds out already. I have my shotgun out. And obviously it gets a little like mixed up there because I don't think Cooper was ready. I think Cooper was thinking something else. So good aggression as well on like the comms from Kanata. Well, no, it's not necessarily aggression, it's assertiveness. Any IGLs out there that end up watching this video, like, if there's one thing that you can take from this clip, it is precisely that, being assertive with your comms. If you want a play to happen and your teammate isn't doing it fast enough, like, be assertive. Like, let them know, hey, like, we have to get this done now. There's a level of urgency that you have to approach certain situations with, and the way that you can communicate urgency to a teammate is by inflections in tone, right? And so that's kind of what you see from Kanata here. So as you guys can see, basically from about a minute and a half of this gameplay, literally like one singular zone, one singular rotate, there's a ton of information, a ton of stuff to learn just about communication, and you can see just how skilled some of these guys are at using their voices, and then also the impact that using your voice can have when you are in a competitive environment, right? And this isn't just applicable to IGLs, this is also applicable to fraggers too. In duos, it's more important than ever for both players to understand the game at a similar level, and maybe you guys just have differing skill sets, and that's totally okay. That's part of duo composition. You want to have a teammate that is complementary to you, but the thing is, you guys need to be on a similar skill level so that when you are communicating, there isn't any of this like lost communication where you guys aren't understanding what's going on between each other, okay? And if you guys aren't at a level where you understand some of these plays yet, then that may be something that you guys need to discuss setting up those code words, right? So communication is trait number one, and communication is also a bit of a skill that you guys can work on, but this is something that is extremely important for you guys to master if you want to become a professional in this game. All right, guys. So it's really no secret that Fortnite is an ever-changing game that requires constant adaptation, and that leads us to trait number 2, which is going to be adaptability. Now, adaptability is something that's extremely important in Fortnite, but also in life. You know, in life, you can often get thrown challenges, whether it be having to move for work because of a job, or maybe your parents have to move for work because of a job, and now you have to change schools, and now you have to adapt to a completely new environment, right? Fortnite is kind of the same in the sense that every single season we get new items, portions of the map are changing, we get new guns, etc. Right? And so being open to this change, being almost excited for the change to happen and openly embracing it, no matter what, is one of the most important skills that you can have in Fortnite. Because at the end of the day, we don't have control of the items that go into the game. We don't have control of how the direction that the developers want to take. We don't have control over any of that. But what we can control is working hard day in and day out to learn the new metas and strategies that a new season is going to bring upon us, right? So, for instance, let's say in one season, the main mobility item is shockwaves. The way that that meta is going to play is going to be a lot different than a meta with grapplers, for instance, right? Because obviously shockwaves are going to be breaking builds, whereas grapplers are probably not capable of that. So that adds another element to the game that you have to learn. You have to learn how to adapt to that, right? And that changes every single season. And that's kind of part of the process, and the challenge of becoming a professional in this space is being open to that, and then also have the energy and the willingness to do that every 3 months or so. So remember, guys, adaptability is one of the most important things that you guys can have and that you can develop as a skill, you know, and it's something that, you know, a lot of professionals, they already do this extremely well, and they know that it takes a lot of time to remain flexible and to remain adaptable, because at the end of the day, whoever works harder in a given season is likely to do better, given that you start at the same skill, right? So sometimes that requires, you know, putting in lots and lots of hours into scrims or private matches to figure out how new items work and to brainstorm about how these items are going to fit into the meta. All right, and that brings us to trait 3, confidence. Now, confidence is a topic that can be a bit tricky for people, so I'm going to try to distinguish confidence from arrogance, as well as trying to distinguish it from competence, because I think that there needs to be a distinguishment made, especially for this community, because I think that it often gets misconstrued what confidence actually is, right? So you know, building up a healthy confidence is crucial to succeeding in any area of life and not just the game, right? So generally speaking, a healthy confidence is going to be built up by raising your awareness of who you are as a human being and working hard to build competence in a particular domain, whether that be Fortnite or some other life skill. Maybe you guys have passions outside of the game that you want to study in school, and that's totally cool and all. You know, I think that that's great to have other passions. You should never just have one passion in your life, right? So that is something that I think definitely contributes heavily to having a true deep sense of confidence in yourself as a person, and then also having the willingness to accept, you know, every part of yourself, even the parts that you don't necessarily like, right? Because you are a human being. There are going to be parts of you that come up in your life that you're like, hey, I'm not so, like, is that really me? You know what I'm saying? So, and, you know, if those thoughts are coming into your head, yeah, it probably is you, but you get to decide, like, where you want to go in your life, right? So why is building up this healthy confidence essential to success? The thing is, guys, in order to achieve something, you have to do something, meaning that you have to take action, right? And one of your core emotional systems is going to be referred to as fight, flight, or freeze. This is a natural response to fear. So in a game like Fortnite, this response is really not beneficial because, again, you can literally quite freeze in moments where you are stressed or scared, anxious, whatever you want to call it. So how do you develop a healthy level of confidence, or how does that assist you with controlling this response? Well, because this particular response is rooted in fear, you first have to unpack exactly what it is that you're afraid of. And I would guess that for most people, it's a fear of failure, of feeling inadequate, not feeling like you're good enough to achieve a certain goal, right? And the thing is, no matter what you interpret this failure to mean about you, you cannot get to where you want to go in life until you fail. And that you can't get to where you want to go in life until you failed a million times, right? The thing is in Fortnite, right, like if you watch a high level tournament like a grand finals or something, it's very rare that the people that win the tournament actually win a lot of games. They might win a couple across the tournament, but usually their match history is just extremely consistent, right? That means that they made mistakes at some point during that tournament, and that means that they failed to, win the game, right? Because ultimately, the pinnacle, in theory, of Fortnite performance would be to win 12 out of 12 games in a grand finals. Nobody's ever accomplished that, right? So that means that even in the highest level of competition, there are still people trying and failing. So what you guys have to understand is that this is a constant process of trying and failing, right? And so you quite literally just have to keep failing, and you have to be okay with failure until you succeed. And that's where the confidence part comes in, right? Because when you fail, it doesn't feel good for most people. Some people have rigged it so that, hey, so it's like automatically that they learn, and that makes it much easier to go through this process, obviously. But at the end of the day, most people haven't developed that skill. So understanding that is kind of a good first step in the right direction. But ultimately what it comes down to, guys, is that you have to act, you have to do something, because doing nothing will guarantee that you never make it to your goal, right? So no matter what happens, go out there, be confident, do something, and learn from it if you make a mistake. All right. And that's how you're going to develop that healthy level of confidence that will truly help you guys start to improve at a level that you haven't seen possible before. All right, guys. So the next trait that we're going to see is going to be discipline, right? And as you can see in the definitions on the screen from dictionary.com, discipline is officially listed as having 9 different definitions. Yay, English. For our purposes, however, we will focus on definitions 1, 2, and 6. So definition number 1, discipline is going to be training to act in accordance with rules, or to drill, right? Number 2 is going to be an activity, exercise, or regiment that develops or improves a skill. And then number 6 is going to be behavior in accord with rules of conduct, behavior and order maintained by training and control. So let's talk about what these definitions mean, what this is, and why it's important, right? So first thing is that becoming a professional in any endeavor, any domain, any particular field is going to be a lengthy process. It could take years, if not decades, to truly master a particular skill. So over this extended period of time, you're going to experience life. You're going to have emotional ups and downs, but through it all, you must stay dedicated to a particular set of rules or behaviors, definition number 6, in order to stay consistent. Consistency across extended periods is what creates long-term success, not short, full-out sprints for months at a time followed by months of inactivity. The latter option is a highway straight to burnout, which I've covered in another video, which you can see on the screen right now. Now, to have discipline in your consistency and schedule is good, but it's not all that is required. Discipline in your training, from definitions 1 and 2, is also required. But D, what does it mean to have discipline in your training? Well, put simply, if you're going to have discipline in your training, it just means that you're going to have intention and focus in whatever you're playing. So whether you can maintain this for 3 hours or 12 hours throughout the day, you need to try to give your maximum allowable focus and energy every day to create this consistency. So some days you're going to be able to do this longer than others, but the point is that you show up the majority of the time. Right? So I've also discussed scheduling and breaks in that previously mentioned video above, so just another reason to go watch it. Wink, wink. If you can manage to develop this trait within yourself, I can guarantee you that you will see results in development faster than you've ever seen before in your life. So, last up, guys, resilience. Now, this trait is tied probably with discipline as being the most important of all. And according to an online definition, resilience can be defined as the ability to endure and persevere in the face of setbacks and challenges. Amazing. Now, in a game like Fortnite, you're always going to be facing setbacks and challenges. And in fact, this becomes a part of everyday life when playing this game competitively. You may lose teammates, people's games crash unexpectedly and uncontrollably, storms can knock out power at inopportune times. You name it, and it's probably happened to someone somewhere playing Fort and has adversely impacted their experience. Now, a good example of a player with incredible resilience is Kanata. Now, let's put his career into perspective. Like most pros, Kanata's a player that wants to be the best and wants to prove that he's the best. He's the only remaining North American pro who is qualified to every single grand finals, and despite this incredible achievement, Kanata's only won once, which was back in Chapter 4, Season 3 when he played with Agers. So, to make that many grand finals and to only be able to win once and being as consistent as incredible a player as Kanata has been throughout his career, I would say it's probably pretty, disappointing. I know he's got one now, so I know he's real excited about that. I remember watching after that particular FNCS on the broadcast, watching him talk to the casters and everything, and he's obviously very excited, but the amount of just disappointment that you have to go through is immense, right? Just to get to that one win. But that's the thing, guys. Fortnite's a very imperfect game. It's probably one of the most challenging games out there. So in order to be successful in this game, you need some combination of these 5 traits, guys. And if you're lacking in any of these are things that you can put in time to, focus on and develop and try to model yourself after, right? Your personality is not fixed. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that our personalities change and develop as we move throughout our lives. So just because you may be lacking in a certain area of one of these traits right now doesn't mean that you always will be. Just like any other skill, it can be practiced and it can be improved upon. So go out there and just do your best every day. And I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you.